Yeah, hello everybody. It's Sunday the 4th of October 2009 and it's late on in the afternoon. It's about 4:30. And I'll just try and keep this one brief, this little snip brief, because I don't want to be boring people with facts and figures. But interesting article in today's Sunday Independent. And I just go into the article, I put it up on the screen, you can stop the screen, blow it up a wee bit, have a read of it. And I'll also put a link down here. Is it down here? No, it's here. I think it's here, and you can it's the URL, and you can click it and go to the Sunday Independent site and have a look at it. Okay, and the article is headed up. It's by a man called John Drennan, and it's headed up: the national debt to quadruple in the next 4 years. And these are Department of Finance projections, and they're from, so you have to qualify them a little bit, but anyway, they'll be basically correct, I suppose, in many ways. 2007, it says, our national debt, in other words, the debt of the state, was 37.5 billion, and they make the projection by 2013 it's going to be 140 billion. So it quadruples in size. Okay, and they say that the cost of servicing the debt was in 2007 it was 2.1 billion to service the 37.5 billion debt, and to service the debt in 2013, which will be 140 billion, it will be between 9 and 10 billion. And then this lady Joan Burton pops up and she said, okay, that's fine, but you've left out three bits. She's something to do with the Labour Party. I think she's the finance spokesman or something for the Labour Party. She said you've left out three key bits out of this, and that is the losses on the NAMA project, which is a fair comment. We are going to suffer massive losses on this NAMA project. That's number one. And then the second thing she said is, what about the other direct interventions that we're going to have to put into these banks? Again, she's correct in that, because there's 5 major banks involved in this, and I'd say at least 2 of them are highly insolvent, if not bankrupt. So definitely the verging on bankruptcy, and they would be bankrupt if they hadn't got those big inputs from the state in the earlier part of the year. So there's going to be more inputs that have to come from the state. And the final thing is, all this money we're borrowing at the moment, this has all been borrowed from bonds and from both from bonds and the interbank rate, and both these are at historically low rates, and there's only one way they can go, and that's more money. And none of this has been mentioned in the Department of Finance's projections for obvious reasons. Now, this is only one article of the whole group of articles within the Sunday Independent and within all of the Irish papers today, and also the Sunday Times. And it's all the same. The whole thrust is the same that we've been discussing over the last couple of snips. And the whole thrust is the cuts have to be applied to the public service because the tax intake is way down. The overall tax intake, not just the income tax rate, the whole tax rate, from VAT, from stamp duty, from corporation tax, the whole gambit of the tax legislation, it's way down the tax take. So they have to make up for it by cutting expenditure. Government expenditure has to be cut. And Lenihan it's a poison chalice he's been given, but he has to deal with it. That's what his ministry is given over to. Alright? So basically the whole thrust of all these articles is we have to cut the wages of the public servants. And what happens here is there's another major article inside it, and it's a big article, and I can't scan it, so you'll have to go. I'll put the post up for it. You can have a look at it as well. And it's in the Sunday Independent as well, because it gives you an insight into it. But out of the Sunday Independent, I'd say 10 of the pages are given over to the excesses of public, what they call the excesses of public pay versus private pay. Okay? And in this particular article, it deals with all the CEOs out of all the various heads, how much they earn. They're all on $8,000 a week, $6,000 a week, $5,000 a week, $7,000 a week. Okay. Now the main reason for this is very simple. If they are going to apply cuts, The cuts will be applied right across the board. Okay? In other words, in their mind, they're going to keep it simple. In other words, the man who earns 800 euros or the woman who earns 800 euros, alright, as a little nurse somewhere and has a take-home pay of 550 euros, she's going to get hit by the 10 or 15% that they're going to impose. Just as much as the CEO and the senior operations officers for these semi-state and full state bodies, who are all on 3 and 4 grand a week. Now, if you take 10 or 15% off the person who's on the smallest wage, that cripples them. Doesn't cripple these boys at the top. Doesn't cripple these boys at the top. And how are they going to deal with the judges? How are we going to deal with the judges, half of which were given up until now, to come in and tell them how much of a voluntary, imagine this, of a voluntary discount they were prepared to give? These are public servants. These fellas, these judges. Oh no, they're the holy in this. My God, how can you talk that way about the judges? These are the holy of the holies. Well, they ain't setting very much of a good example for the rest of us peasants, are they? Now, the way that it should be done is, if it was an equitable society, which it's not, it should be done on a sliding scale. And those who earn less should pay only a small amount in a deduction, while those who earn the most at the top, they should be paying the most. So it should be a sliding scale, but it won't, as we all know. And it'll be right across the board. So it won't affect their mates, the guys that they go out to play golf with, the guys that they go to and have G&Ts and go out to evening soirees with and meet after work and have dinners with. Won't affect them. But the ordinary Joe on the street is going to fucking crucify them. But then, you wouldn't really expect anything different, would you?